guys, it's Timmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 18th of April, 2022, for the Wrestling Wrap-Up. It's a handful of news brought to you in one easy-to-watch video. Today we do have, I want to say, 5 stories on the dock. Kind of a lighter show, but I think 1 or 2 of these stories we'll kind of get in depth with, which is why I didn't pull too many extra smaller stories, if you know what that means, or if you know what I'm getting at. You know, the first and the last story, I think we're gonna go a little more in-depth-ish, talk more than like a couple minutes on. So yeah, that's why I was like, I could pull a bunch of random stories that people may not care about, but no, we'll go with some of these heavier stories. No, heavier may be the wrong word. Longer topic stories, and we'll get in with that. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and twitter.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. I hope everybody that celebrates Easter had a happy Easter yesterday. I had a pretty good one. I could say that last night, my night ended super happy but pissed off at the same time. If anybody watched that NASCAR race, you may know what I'm talking about, with Kyle Busch winning but Tyler Reddick finishing second. I love Kyle Busch. I mean, that's my guy. That's my driver. Yet I had Tyler Reddick in fantasy and he ended up finishing second. And wave of emotions. Happy, sad, all at the same time. But with that, again, if you guys do celebrate Easter, I hope you guys had a great Easter yesterday, with whatever you did, whether that was with friends, family, or even by yourself. But with that, if you are watching here on Twitch, I want to say, well, you can support us a couple of different ways. You can support us by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you could subscribe, or you could support us by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. All you got to do is take that Amazon account, take that Twitch account, link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games. Right now you can get Plants vs. Zombies, Battle for Neighborville. You can get the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Game of the Year Edition, and so many more. Also, they give you free stuff for games like Grand Theft Auto Online, Madden 22, Valorant, Fall Guys, New World, and so much more. But the one thing that never changes, is that, well, you get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to. Well, you can subscribe right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. You can subscribe to us, support us, and remember, it doesn't even have to be your own Amazon account. It can be anybody's Amazon Prime account, whether that's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, and your grandpa, your brother's girlfriend's sister that randomly showed up at Easter. That didn't happen to me. I'm just saying it. That could be your ex-wife's new boyfriend's Amazon account. It could be anybody's Amazon account. You link it to your Twitch account, and bada bing, there you go. You're Prime Gaming. But on the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well with a super chat or a super sticker donation. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel by hitting that join button down below. By doing so, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Plus, you can do all of that, but more directly support us and not have to give any money to YouTube by heading over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Are you going over there to buy a game? Are you looking to get, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto 5 because you haven't played that, even though it came out in 2013? You looking to play Rainbow Six Siege, Rainbow Six Extraction? Go over there, buy a game, and at checkout, right before you confirm your purchase, on the right-hand side, it's going to ask you if you have a creator code, and you do. It's PW Unlimited. That creator code is PW Unlimited. Give me 1 second. I just got a weird email. What the hell is this? Okay, I'm going to have to check on that later, but with that, head over to the Epic Game Store, buy a game, or even just claim the free games and put in the code PW Unlimited, and you will be supporting us over there. But with that, we've got some news to talk about. The first being about Alexa Bliss. As far as this Alexa Bliss story does go, I'm going to read this straight from Fightful, as they did report the following. Alexa Bliss has been off television for the last couple of months, but it came a little earlier than many expected. Fightful was informed in January that up to 9 vignettes had been filmed for Alexa Bliss's return to the ring and WWE programming after being sidelined for several months. The culmination in her competing in the Elimination Chamber match. They culminated in her competing in the Elimination Chamber match, but we're told even as of that point, there was no substantial creative direction for Bliss. Talent, creative, and higher-ups that Fightful spoke to said that it became known Bliss has voiced her displeasure in the days following Elimination Chamber about her creative direction, or lack thereof. Despite her not appearing on the WrestleMania card, Creative was told she was willing to work the show, and there were pitches to involve her in Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair's match. That were quickly shot down. We weren't able to confirm if those pitches came from Bliss or someone within Creative. We're told that by the end of February, it was pretty well determined initially that Bliss would not be featured on WrestleMania. Those that we spoke to say that the priority of booking Bliss shifted significantly after her vignettes. Talent and Creative were told that Bliss was very transparent about frustration and nothing of substance had been booked after being out of action for half the year. Talent that we heard from said that there was also discussions backstage that Bliss had voiced them directly to Vince McMahon. She is still listed as the number 2 babyface of WWE Raw on internal depth charts as of last week. We haven't been informed on if there are any imminent plans for her return, and Bliss is currently on her honeymoon. This is very interesting that, the last time we saw Bliss before, the therapy vignettes were Extreme Rules 2021. She worked Charlotte Flair for the belt, and she had the freak out moment when Charlotte ripped up Lily. Then we didn't see her for months, maybe like 6 months at that point. Then she showed up doing the therapy vignettes and all that stuff, and then she was in the chamber. She was in the number 1 contenders Elimination Chamber match. She got really good shine in that match. She got to look good, ultimately being the last 2 in the match with Bianca Belair, and then getting pinned by Belair, who ultimately went on to WrestleMania to become the new women's champion. Nonetheless, how do I phrase this? If I was Bliss, yes, I would be frustrated as well. I understand the frustration of, and we don't know everything going on in Bliss's life either. And maybe now here's the first big question we do have to ask with all of this. After the Charlotte match, did she maybe ask for some time off? Did she, and this is all speculation, don't quote me on any of this. Did she maybe ask for some time off, and that maybe soured Vince of going, she's off a lot. Why would I put a lot of, oofs behind her? A lot of chutzpah, as some may say, as Italians would say. But, that's one option we can, I don't even like to say assume, because assuming, what is that? It makes an ass out of you and me. But if we're trying to think, what could have led to WWE start and stop here with her in 2022? That's the biggest. It's a start and stop in 2022. They ramped it up, and it also says here, or something about the vignettes where things changed. Where was that line? Those that we spoke to say that the priority of booking Bliss shifted significantly, hence, on the word significantly, after the vignettes. So I don't know if they didn't like the vignettes. Maybe they didn't like the fan reactions to the vignettes. That's another big question. Why did things shift significantly after the vignettes? And is that shift in a good way? Is that shift in a bad way? Again, there's still a lot of vagueness here that, the report here from Fightful is vague, but it's also probably that the info they got was pretty vague as well. That they got a lot of good info here, but maybe they didn't get some of these pressing questions, some of the answers to these pressing questions. So it's like, okay, Alexa's on her honeymoon. She just got married to singer-songwriter Ryan Cabrera. Congratulations to those two. They had a great wedding, it looked like. They had a lot of friends and family and just a lot of people there from the videos that got posted online, but nonetheless, digress. We don't know how long she's going on this honeymoon, And we don't know when she's going to be back on TV. Fightful even says there's no word on when she will be brought back. It says we haven't been informed on if there are any imminent plans for her return. So again, that's the other big question. When do they want to bring her back to television? There's been a lot of start and stop with Alexa Bliss over the last year, and it's, to me, seems like it's not ending anytime soon. So I can see where the frustration comes from on her part. I can see where she can be mad and upset. And apparently, according to this, some think that she went straight to Vince with it. That she went straight to Vince. It says right here, talent that we heard from said that there was also discussion backstage that Bliss had voiced that directly to Vince McMahon. So again, that's another one. It's like if she's going straight to Vince, she's really upset. And now I bet you she's in the same thing. We as fans sit and wait, and maybe she's also in the sit and wait, which is unfortunate, which is very unfortunate for Alexa Bliss, who is so talented. She's a great athlete. She's good in the ring. She's one of the better females they have on the microphone cutting promos. So it's like, overall, this is not a positive for WWE keeping Alexa Bliss out. Again, we don't know what has led fully to this decision, but if it's just we've tried some different things and it's not all quite working, let's go back to the drawing board. Couple more months of planning. Couple more months of coming up with ideas and seeing who likes them and who doesn't. It's like, what the hell is going on here? What the hell indeed is going on here with Alexa Bliss? This is not good to hear. She's frustrated. And they're not really doing anything or letting her or anyone know what's going on. So I get it. Not many backstage need to know what's going on with Bliss unless you're like, it's like, hey, so-and-so, Alexa's coming back next Monday. You're working her, this and that. It's a program going to lead to, Money in the Bank pay-per-view, blah, blah, blah. Just saying. So, no, Melvin's over here. Alexa Bliss to AEW confirmed. No, we can't say that. We can't. Because for all we know, she voiced the frustration, had a meeting with Vince. Now, everything hunky-dory, but because she's been gone for the wedding, nobody knows backstage because nobody's talked to her work-wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she talked to Vince directly and they smoothed everything over and they have a plan, and because she just hasn't been there because she was getting things ready for the wedding and then doing the wedding and now on the honeymoon, maybe they do have a plan. Maybe she is now happier, but that she hasn't been there, no one's been talking to her work-wise. Like, I highly doubt someone went to her wedding and goes, so, when you coming back on television? So, you talked to Vince. What's the plan? I doubt any of that went down at the wedding. And anybody, I would assume not anybody, but most that work with her, probably that was the last time they saw her in person. And I bet you if she's on her honeymoon, she ain't really, I wouldn't talk work stuff or calls or texts with people unless it was like pressing of, all right, when you get back from the honeymoon, okay, this date, all right, we need you on the road 4 days later, 2 days later, whatever. Unless it's something like that, she ain't talking work on the honeymoon. So we'll continue to follow this story of Alexa Bliss being frustrated, plans starting and stopping, and seeing where it all goes. Again, there's a number of things here in play, and you can't just all of a sudden go, someone's unhappy, they're going to AEW. Because here's the other question. What if Alexa's unhappy, leaves WWE, but doesn't want to go to WWE? Maybe she takes a break from wrestling. Who knows? We just have to sit and wait and gather more information. But as we move forward here, another WWE story, which is a fun one. Finally getting another episode of Table for Three. We haven't got one in I don't know how long. Actually, I could probably look that up. WWE Table for Three. When's the last time we got an episode of Table for Three? Last episode of Table for Three was, let's see, episodes. Why is this not showing me the episode timeline? Wait, did I click the wrong episodes? Here we go. Last time we got an episode of Table for Three? Holy moly. April 8th, no. That was when the last technical season started. December 23rd, 2019. It was Mark Henry, D'Lo Brown, and The Godfather. That was the last time we got an episode of Table for Three. December 23rd, 2019. And we do know that they filmed some episodes over WrestleMania weekend. We're going to get a new one with Kurt Angle, Chad Gable, and Otis. So that's very, very cool. This will drop this Friday, April 22nd. Yes, I'm looking at my calendar here just to double check. That is this Friday, April 22nd, a new episode of Table for Three. WWE describes it as, quote, WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle and the Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis, share their journeys from Olympic hopefuls to WWE superstars. Now, this is an interesting thing to think about because we know WWE brought Kurt Angle out for WrestleMania weekend. Rumors were that Kurt was supposed to return to television, maybe do something with Alpha Academy against RK Bro, and then those plans got nixed and nothing ever came of them. It was also the rumor was it was also going to lead to Angle being some sort of a special guest referee in a match between RK Bro and Alpha Academy at Elimination Chamber. Again, that never happened. So it is cool that we're getting Kurt Angle, Otis, and Chad Gable, and it's going to talk about them wanting to be, Olympic wrestlers and then transitioning to WWE. We do know that Gable and Otis, they're best friends, and they met in Colorado training for the Olympics and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, I'm interested. I love the Table for Three show, and I think this should be a very, very cool episode of the show. But as we move forward, we got an update to a story that broke over the weekend pertaining to Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham. Jonathan Gresham worked Friday night for All Elite Wrestling. He defended the Ring of Honor World Championship against Dalton Castle, and the match aired Saturday night at Battle of the Belts. They then had a deal on Battle of the Belts where after he won the match and defended the title, Satnam Singh came down and beat him down, and then Joe came out and made the save and this and that. Well, yesterday morning, Progress Wrestling put out a video stating, hey, our champ ain't going to be here. Jonathan Gresham was in the video and stated, unfortunately, I am not cleared to compete and I cannot be in the ring right now. I will not be traveling to London and I will not be appearing on Sunday or Monday's Progress Wrestling shows, which it's like, okay, Ring of Honor champion not being at the Progress Wrestling shows, but he's not just the Ring of Honor champion though. Jonathan Gresham is also the Progress Wrestling World Champion. So they had to run 2 shows without their champion. Now, the big question coming out of the weekend was, what's going on with Gresham? And according to Brian Alvarez on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, he stated that it seems as if Jonathan Gresham may have suffered a concussion in the match with Dalton Castle, as Alvarez stated the following. He hit a kind of twisting suplex and dropped him kind of on his head and shoulder, and apparently that's where Gresham suffered a concussion. You couldn't tell by the way they were working. Gresham showed no signs of being out of it or anything like that, but was examined afterwards, and I guess he's not, and I guess he's out for a while. But there were some good spots in the match, and the fans were into it. But with that, it looks like Jonathan Gresham either did suffer a concussion or maybe is on some sort of a concussion protocol just to be safe. But there were, according to Brian Alvarez, concerns of a possible concussion coming out of the match on Friday. And so that is why he did not work the shows in London this weekend, which I assume maybe he would have flew out. Well, yeah, because the time difference and all. He would have flew out Saturday, been there Sunday, been there today. He was supposed to take on, let's see if I can remember this off the top of my head. Nope. I can pull up card though. Chris Ridgway was one of his opponents. Chris Ridgway and Mooney. Forget who it was. Chris Ridgway and he was supposed to be taking on Chris Ridgway and Gene Mooney. That's who it was. Chris Ridgway and Gene Mooney. The Ridgway match was yesterday. The Mooney match was today. And I do think, let me double check on their Twitter. I know they announced a follow-up match for Gresham. We got this right here for their No Mountain High Enough event coming up in May 15th. It was announced. Let's see. Where is it? I know I saw this last night. There it is. He'll be facing Gene Money on May 15th. Doesn't say if the title's on the line. It says, made official moments ago, the new date for Gene Money's Moment of Destiny against Progress champion Jonathan Gresham will be Sunday, May 15th at Chapter 134, No Mountain High Enough. There we go. We do now know. We don't know. I didn't see anything on the Ridgeway match, but let's see, because that could be moved as well. I don't see anything. No. They did not announce anything as far as him facing Chris Ridgeway in the future. But we do know that the Gene Money match will be taking place on May 15th. To answer Ricky Dona's question in the chat, he says, who's saying Ain't No Mountain High Enough? Marvin Gaye. Or you could say the cast of Remember the Titans, because they had a great rendition of that song in that movie. I love Remember the Titans. I love Remember the Titans. But our final news story, we're ready at the final news story. I told you this was going to be a shorter one, but we got stuff we could talk about. This one I'm very interested in. It's a possible, rumored, seems like very likely AEW New Japan Super Show. New Japan is no stranger to super shows, as they have one coming up with All Japan soon. It's I can't remember. I think it's a Cork and Hall anniversary show. They've done big super shows they've done big super shows in the past with WCW, most notably Starrcade in the Tokyo Dome in 1991. And they've done big shows with Ring of Honor, most notably the G1 Supercard in 2019. But with that, we've got another New Japan Supercard show. This time is rumored to be with All Elite Wrestling. So the first time we heard about this was last week from Voices of Wrestling on their Super J-Cast podcast. They stated that a AEW New Japan Super Show was slated for Thursday, June 23rd in Chicago at Wrigley Field. Now, the interesting thing there is it's a Thursday, and we'll talk about all that here in a moment. But then over the weekend, on the Sunday Night Main Event podcast, Dave Meltzer was on and also spoke about these rumors, stating, quote, I heard the rumors of New Japan AEW show, and the only thing I can say is I asked and I wasn't denied. Or it wasn't denied. It wasn't confirmed, and they're not going to confirm to me the surprise. So, to me, that leaves that one on the table as a potential surprise, because if they are not doing the show, I believe I would have been told we're not doing the show. So I think there's smoke to the fire. So Tony Khan, we know the relationship between Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer. They talk a lot, and Dave's been very transparent on, when there's surprises, Tony doesn't tell me. But when there's rumors, Tony will tell me that's not true. That's not happening. So for Meltzer to not be told we're not doing that does lead one to believe, that could actually be happening, because they wouldn't deny it to Dave. And so maybe this is going to happen. Now, we all know that this show will garner interest. It's both New Japan and it's AEW. And if the New Japan ROH G1 Supercard show had such interest, this one should have even more interest. This one should not sell out, or should not have an issue selling out, just like the last one did. And I mean, a number of the guys that were promoted for that big show, the one between ROH and New Japan, they're now AEW. Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, you've got like Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, and a number of others as well. You don't have Cody anymore, though. Don't have Cody. But I think it'll be fine. But here's the other things. Thursday, June 23rd, the Chicago Cubs are on the road all week. So that's not an issue. That means they can get in there a day or two before, maybe a day before, set everything up, and there we go. They don't need to worry about, oh, crap, it's a Cubs game the day before. We got to hustle to get the stage and everything set up the day of. No, that's not an issue. But it being on a Thursday is the weird one. That's the weird one. Because if we look at the AEW schedule, I believe they're in Milwaukee the day before. Let me just double check this. So it'll be June 22nd. Milwaukee. The day before, they're in the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena. Now I want to see the distance between the two. If we go UW Milwaukee Panther Arena to Wrigley Field on the map. So directions, Wrigley Field. Only an hour and a half to 2 hour drive with traffic. That's not bad at all. Wednesday night, they do Milwaukee. Drive an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on traffic, which that late at night, that probably shouldn't be much. And there we go. So that's actually makes me think even more that this could be happening on that Thursday. Because it's like, we know that AEW likes to do things where they can keep their guys on the road. It's not like road, home, road. No, they like to do things in succession. So it's like, you're on the road, we'll work you. If we need multiple dates in a week, we'll work them all together. And there we go. The Thursday thing is still weird to me, but at the same time, it's like, okay, bring them into Milwaukee on Tuesday night. They work Milwaukee Wednesday. Wednesday night, we all drive to Chicago. And there we go. We work the show in Chicago at Wrigley Field. So again, I don't have any problems not problems. I don't have any. I just lost my train of thought. I believe this is very feasible. Again, the Thursday thing is throwing people off, throwing me off. It's like, why Thursday? But hey, if that's how they want to do it, that's how they can do it. Now the big question is, who works this show? One would assume the Young Bucks are going to be on it. One would assume Okada, Tanahashi. We do know that. When's that DC show? New Japan DC. Because we do know some stuff for that. Capital Collision taking place May 14th. And we already know that show is going to see Ishii versus Eddie Kingston. And Jon Moxley did call out Tomohiro Ishii. No, not Tomohiro Ishii. Called out... my mind just blanked again. Moxley called out Hiroshi Tanahashi. That's who it was. Hiroshi Tanahashi. And so it's not like those matches can take place on the Super Show. They're taking place in May, a month before. But if you look at the New Japan roster, you would think guys like Jay White. You would think guys, maybe you do the big CM Punk versus Kenta match. That would be really big. You can do Okada versus Omega. Maybe Omega's back by then. We still have no indications, no clues on when Omega could be returning. But, if we think about it, a number of matches, big matches, could take place on this show. And I think it would be a really, 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 really fun show for AEW and New Japan to do together. Great setting in Wrigley Field. I've never been to Wrigley Field myself, but I've watched plenty of games on television. It always looks like a cool place to have a ball game. So why not be a cool place? What's it called? Have a wrestling show. Also, Howard Bubba says Ashford and Simpson sing No Mountain High Enough. Well, then maybe I've only heard the Marvin Gaye version, because I've always been under the impression it's Marvin Gaye. Let me do a quick Google search. Let's see. Oh, looks like you're wrong, Hot Rod Bubba. I'm gonna pull this up on screen. Right here, Hot Rod Bubba. It says Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye. According to Google. Maybe there's other cuts of the song, but that's the one I've always known. Go back to New Japan and AEW. This show could be amazing. Amazing. And it's like, you can throw Darby in a match. Like, if we look at and remember, this isn't just limited to like the New Japan Strong roster or the New Japan roster. This is both of those rosters. And then there's the other question we have to ask as well. Will this be New Japan versus AEW matches? Or will it just be a super show where we've got like AEW matches and New Japan matches? Or maybe we get a match where it's like, I don't know, Tanahashi and Darby Allin against Moxley and Shota Umino or something like that. You know what I mean? We don't know what kind of matches they would want on this as well. So a lot of questions to be asked, a lot of questions to be answered. And my final question is, could this be Tony Khan's big announcement for Wednesday? AEW did announce last week that Tony Khan does have a huge announcement coming up this Wednesday on Dynamite. Could that be the announcement of this Super Show? They need to put tickets. If they're going to do it June 23rd, tickets need to go on sale like last week. I know this will most likely sell out in like a week, if not faster. But they need to get tickets on sale now. They need to get tickets on sale now. Yes, I do know that, Chase Douglas. I mean, I think this show has tremendous possibilities. You can do so many cool different things here. I mean, fuck it. Give me Darby Allin versus Filthy Tom. Give me Darby versus Filthy. But with that, we'll follow this story. Seems like we get a tiny bit more about it every couple of days. So if we hear anything else in the next couple of days, then we'll bring it to you guys here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here for the Wrestling Wrap-Up. Monday, April 18th, 2022. If you're watching live, well, we'll be back tonight. If you're not just watching live, but watching this on a Monday, today's Monday, we'll be back tonight to talk about Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw does have 4 things announced. We do know that Kevin Owens will be giving Ezekiel a lie detector test. It'll be the double wedding, all the ceremonies performed by R-Truth. It's Reggie and Dana Brooke. And it's Akira Tozawa and Tamina. 2 championship matches taking place on tonight's show. We do know that the women's tag team titles will be on the line when Sasha Banks and Naomi defending against Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. And the U.S. title will be on the line when Finn Balor defends against Austin Theory. So with that, if we do hear anything else regarding Raw, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about everything that takes place on Raw in tonight's review. So have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.